there's something that really makes me go towards. I focus more into the people because I want to connect people to people. I go to the front line, yes. There's no way to get to be safer. You cry together, you know, like you just have to cry together. I will stop working in Ukraine when the war stops.
Greetings to all good people, today from Prague, Czech Republic, and with Antonio Cossa, a photographer from Mosambique, who above all focuses on photographing different kind of crises, cultural and social topics, and even wars, right? Antonio, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Antonio, you literally just came back from Ukraine, where you photographed the present war situation. I'm sure it must have been horrible to witness such horrible scenes and so many people suffering. What are your feelings right after you came back?
Well, of course, like to generalize the answer, very bad, but I'm going to tell you why. Because like with too many things that I was not expected to see when I went there, because if I knew what's really happening, I wouldn't go. I didn't have enough information because I went 4 days after the war started. So I went to the border of Poland and Medyka, no idea. So from Medyka, from the border, is when I started to feel the energy of the impact of what is going on, because I saw a lot of people running for different directions. I was going to Lviv. From Lviv, I wanted to go to Kiev, what my destination. But the feeling of people was a lot of people moving in one direction towards me, right? And I've been covering a lot of refugee crises, but this was very heavy because it was women and like, for example, the last refugee crisis I covered was the Rohingya refugees and the Syria crisis in Europe. And I could see fathers helping the women and the children because they couldn't survive. The women and children wouldn't make it. And here I saw the opposite of that. I saw just women and children and grandmothers. You understand me? And I see exactly like soldiers separating during the hug when the father's saying goodbye on the train station, seeing a policeman or soldier like separate the man apart and say, sorry, we have to go. And go where? So that was my question. I had to approach and say, like, what's the situation? Like, they're going straight away to the lines. Not to the front, of course, but like to the military trainings to be sent in to the front line. I started to see that like I put myself in a really different kind of situation. But I decided to go deeper. I went to Lviv. Lviv was, when I was in Lviv, Kiev was attacked, and I decided to go. I took a train. This was a horrible train. I took horrible, because like it took about 2 days. It was 4th of March. It took about 2 days to reach in Kiev, which is like normally is very few hours to reach. Because like the train had to go with no electricity. We shouldn't use phones because otherwise the light can be a target for bombs, or because nobody knew it at the time, like what is the target at the time. So it was very, very, very tense. And was seeing women and children alone.
How long did you stay there?
The first time I stayed 2 weeks. Then I came back. I went 3 times as assignment. The second time I went to the different area, so I went 3 times.
And you also went to the front line?
I went to the front. Those times always, when I go there, I go to the front line.
What exactly did you did you photograph, and what do you want to express through your photos?
Well, Martin, there's something that really makes me go to wars more, especially this one. Like, is when I sit home and I see news, for example, and I see the news is always about the presidents, it's about the tanks and the statistics of how many died here and there. And this is like normal. People don't get exactly the narrative of what's going on. What is the war in Ukraine? If you ask somebody, anyone, they cannot tell you. They just know, people just know it's a war in Ukraine. They don't know what's going on. Because like the media just show has bombs and tanks and statistics and Zelensky and Putin. And you cannot have the narrative of the war like this. People don't know. 90% of the people don't know what's going on. So like, I focus more into the people because I want to connect people to people. Not only photograph people in Ukraine who's fleeing, but I'm sure that like those exhibitions and lectures that I'm doing, they're going to meet each other. In one picture, one day, an exhibition somewhere, a child can come and say, "That's my auntie." And they can reunite one day. That's my issue now. There's statistics and bombs. And I go to the front line, yes. And when I'm on the front line, I photograph the wounded soldiers. So, like soldiers, the story of soldiers. And what I photograph there, I don't show to the people in the galleries. Of course, I select for my collection, or for World Press photo, or for something like that. But to the public, I always want to inform them through my work, through my pictures.
I'm sure most of the people cannot imagine going to the war zone like you did. How does it work? Like, what did you do to stay safe, for example?
Martin, you're not doing anything. There's no way to get to be safe there. I had a lecture 2 weeks ago, and one woman for the audience asked me. I mean, she said, "Yeah, okay, Ukraine, we have war, but not all Ukrainian." You know, so it's like, for example, this kind of narrative you cannot say. It's like the country's in war. There's no any safe zone. And a few days after, the main city was attacked. You know, you
never know.
It's impossible to, in any war, you're not safe. What drives you is what you dare to do. That's what drives you. If you're there lost, if you look for the picture of the year, if you're there like to look for friends, you won't make it. You need of being there. People, especially when it's people that drives you, is what makes you safe. Because like most of the times, I had no money, no food, and like they gave me food, they gave me water, they told me what happened, they gave me links to. I never use fixers because I have people that like they can give me the better situation, and I sleep with them on the bunkers. And I visit the families in the hospital all the time they go. I'm connected with the people that I photograph. Till now, I have the phone numbers that tell me that husband died. Like I have 3 already that called me, say like, look, he didn't make it. And
so the locals helped you a lot. Did you also try to help the victims of the war over there?
Yeah. I'm doing a lot of solidarity. I'm taking bulletproof to the soldiers on the front line. I take medicine and power banks to the civilians, food and diapers to children. I create a plantiform which is like humanitarian. So which like is friends that have companies, and I always ask them like, look, these people need house, these people need this, and they trust me, and they always support me. And I always put a truck together and go there with like bulletproofs, medicine, power banks. I make a campaign for help. I'm not just photographing, but when I come back, I make a campaign and I go back because I diagnose the problem when I'm there also.
Are you planning to come back at some point again?
To Ukraine?
To Ukraine.
Yes.
Yes?
I'm so into it that it's not more about...
Is it your main focus now?
No, it's my main focus.
Yeah.
I will stop working in Ukraine when the war stops. I'm very involved on it personally because of the people that I met, people that I photographed them crying, and I promised them that I'm with you in this boat. Okay. So it's like it's really personal. And one day I hope I photograph the piece of Ukraine.
Hopefully.
With the flag on it.
Yeah.
Not because I have something with the country or some kind of sympathy. No, it's just like, it's not good what I saw there.
As far as I know, you started taking pictures when you were a child, right? And I think you started photographing the wildlife and the nature, but later on you started focusing on different kind of topics like cultural, social topics, even wars, as I said, as we talked about just now, and natural catastrophes, consequences of these catastrophes, refugees. What brought you to these kind of topics from what you did before?
Martin, it's like, that's why when I do some workshops, I always say to my students that to be a photojournalist is a process. And what is the process? You cannot become one and go to the front line. You photograph the bird, then you ask what is eating, then you get the food, then you get the tree, then you say like, why people kill the tree? And you move the camera to the people, and you keep going until you reach on the worst part, which is the front line of the problems of everything that's going on in the world. But you start from shooting a bird and making questions until now is still making questions.
You photographed horrible consequences of destructive cyclone in Mosambique, for example. People protesting and fighting for freedom and democracy in Hong Kong. And now you photograph the war in Ukraine. What was so far the toughest topic for you to take pictures of, and what really touched your heart?
Well, it's difficult to answer that because I give all of me when I defend some cause, when I'm going to the assignment. For example, when I think like now I can say I was already banned from China now after 2 years because of a Hong Kong protest, for example. Like I was with the protesters, I was sleeping with them, I was seeing them planning the next day. You know, like I was on the side that I believe is the right side. So Rohingya refugees also, and so like all the assignments I make, I give myself 100% in it. So it's difficult to compare which one was, but the strongest one, of course, always war. Sudan, Syria. Now here, it's different. Like here, I focus more into people because like the war here is about bombs, about shelters and artillery. It's different kind of war, so we cannot compare with Sudan, for example, where you have like close range of AK-47. Like in my country, Mozambique, where I photograph heads shot down, you know, because there's no guns in there. It's like physically contact. They cut your head. You see heads like in the medieval times, you know. So, but this at the same time, I cannot compare this war with Ukraine because it touched me in different places. Otherwise. Because if I had just one belief or one story that I want to follow, I would be follow Hong Kong till now, or Sudan till now, or Rohingya refugees till now. But I keep changing. It depends on the feeling I have. So, you know.
Yeah, you mentioning wars are the toughest. You know, there's many people out there who witnessed wars and ended up with traumas, depressions. They became drug addicted or alcoholics. What do you personally do to keep your mind clear and to handle all of this without any mental problems, let's say?
Well, I won't say I don't have a mental problem. I won't say that. I'll be lying because I do.
Okay.
Even if I don't diagnose that I have, even if I think that I'm normal, but I'm sure that it's impossible after all this trajectory of my career not to be. Yeah,
It influences the person who's there and sees those
but like
horrible
so,
scenes. I
like
guess.
what really makes a balance is like I photograph also like celebrities. I'm official photographer, for example, of Johnny Depp, Travolta, William Dafoe, Julianne Moore. I photograph red carpets on a really, really high level.
Mm-hmm.
So like to be on the red carpet half of the year and half of the year be in the war and having a drink with Will Smith, then hug Johnny Depp. Somehow it takes me, it gives me a balance. Compared with my colleagues that is just war to war, 24
Mm-hmm.
hours.
So
like this part of celebrities work, it really like helps me a lot.
all right, and I guess you travel a lot, right? Most of the time you spend abroad with your projects. How do you balance your personal life and the career?
My career and my personal life is together.
Okay.
My job as a photojournalist makes me a better man, and be a better person with my friends and family makes me a better photojournalist.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't have a discipline from home, from my friend, I will die on the front line. Because I won't listen to the commanders to get me. So like, and when I'm coming from there, I give more value to life. So when I'm coming, I hug more of my friends. I consider them more. I give more value to life.
Talking about people, I guess when you're in a war, for example, and you want to take pictures of the people there, I guess in those hard times they don't really feel like being photographed. How do you get people on your side usually?
Martin, this is another thing that makes me go all the time to war, because it's opposite what people think. Like they feel bad, uncomfortable with our presence, but they feel good when we're there, because like when they see a photographer, they know that like somebody saw me, somebody gonna tell my story. I'm safe, so it's not gonna be like abuse with army or with soldiers. Like they feel safe when they see us.
So it's the opposite.
It's totally the opposite. They feel safe when they see us. They know that we're gonna. So that's why they protect us, because they know like this one gonna go out with my story. He's gonna help me find my husband. He's gonna help me find my kids. This the only window I have. So that's how they see us, and that's one of the reasons that makes you go all the time. This commitment with the people.
Let's move on for now from the war. And let's talk about Mozambique, where you come from, right?
Yeah.
I just came back from Africa, where I spent 4 months, visited 7 countries.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't go to Mozambique, but I met many people on my way, and they told me you really need to go to Mozambique one day because it's a beautiful country, it's a paradise. How would you describe Mozambique?
No, paradise. It is a paradise.
So they didn't lie.
No, it's really a paradise. It's crazy because like you have small dots. It's not only in Mozambique, but many countries, even in Sudan. You can go to Sudan for good backpacking, and it's like there are hot spots. But like the country is really, really good country, good people, good food, beautiful islands.
Okay.
Happy people.
Nice. Nice.
We're very poor, but we're really happy people. There's music in every corner. The smiling's in every corner. Is the smell of the trees and the wind of the ocean that blows 24 hours is amazing. It is kind of countries that when you miss the country, you don't miss the people only. You miss the smell of the country. The country has its own atmosphere, its own charm. Not because it's my country,
yes.
but is how I can describe Mozambique. It's a charm, its own.
So
that's why they call it the land of the good people.
It's beautiful, but when you grew up there was a civil war, right, which ended in 1992, I guess.
That is real.
How was it for a child to grow up in this kind of environment? How did it shape you?
Okay, like now we're going again to opposite. Because what shocked me was the peace, not the war. When I had the feeling, when I felt peace the first time in my life, this was a shock, because I was used to war.
Okay.
I grew up when I born, 1 year after the war started, till almost 16 years. So all my life, till my 16 years, till I become adult, was during the war.
So it was normal for you?
Very normal, because we didn't know anything else. But then, it's not normal, even if you're born in this environment. Of course, it's not normal. It's not good for the audience who's listening to this interview now saying that the war is normal. It's not in this perspective I'm saying, but you just get used to it. And it's not just me as a child, but many Africans. Now kids are rising right now in Sudan. The burning right now, kids in the refugee camps right now. So like from this time, I'm adult, right? I went through it. Until now, still kids going through it. So like this also another trigger that makes me be a photojournalist for war, conflicts and...
Yeah, I was about to ask, do you think it might be like growing up in a war? Do you think it might be one of the reasons the wars still attract you nowadays, somehow?
I'm not the right person to say that. Could be. Could be. Because it makes sense. It's connected.
Yeah.
I also want to believe that it's my own feeling with people, with war. I don't need war. And if I have a camera with me or a way to express through it and I have audience that listen to it, I need to die in doing it, connecting people to people.
So even though you come from Mozambique, you are currently based in Czech Republic. How long have you been living here, and what brought you here actually?
12 years.
12 years.
And what brought me here was my girlfriend. Yeah, we met in Portugal. She was studying and I was working. And we had like this, we couldn't figure it out if she stayed with me in Portugal, in Porto, or if I'm coming to Czech Republic. But she was a student, she was studying, so I decided to leave, to move to Czech Republic because I can work as a freelancer everywhere. So my decision was to come with her. No, she came first, then I followed her. Then here I am.
After 12 years?
Then I started to make my exhibitions, workshops, and then started working with Havel. So I had a pleasure to meet him. And from there, slowly, here I am.
So you're enjoying it here? Even though you don't stay here very often, I guess, but you like it. You like it in Czech Republic.
It's home. It's home.
It's home.
It's home. Yeah.
What do you think is the main difference between life in here and in Mozambique?
It would be cliche if I would say people smile more in Mozambique than here. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to try to find some different point which would go a little bit deeper. Like, for example, like giving value to things. You know? Like, in here, you always need more, or you always need something new. This in all the perspectives, in new glass, or new paper, or new glass, or new phone, or your life is towards something, which is then explodes into many things, and you just keep taking, and you're losing a lot of the value that is reality around you. You found that you have 10 years, for example. I'm going to try to put this like, if you go to Mozambique today, 2022, you have people that are still using 3210 Nokia as an option because didn't broke yet. So you have no reason to buy another one. Yeah. You know? And
so they appreciate less.
Less, well. And another thing is like to socialize. This is a big issue. Because like, in here you have everything. You have your own cigarettes, you have your phone, you have your internet on it, you have your light, and you have your wine. So like when you go to the bar, you're already on the bubble. You know, so like in Mozambique or in Africa, for example, it's like I can have a cigarette, but I don't have a light. and I have to ask you for. Sorry, what's your name, Martin? So do you have a lighter? Oh, anyway, you have a cigarette? Well, so like everybody have half-half. It's not the right way to answer this question. It's not academic way. It's like, but here you have everything.
I get it.
You can go to the bar, sit down for 7 hours alone, without talking with the people, with someone next to you, because you have your light, you have your cigarettes, you have your glass of wine, and the barman is there to serve you.
So it's more social, and people are more connected. More
connected. And here you're very individual.
Don't you miss that? Are you still visiting Mozambique from time to time?
No, because I take different assignments. That's why I have like a lot of fights with my father.
Okay.
When you're coming home, and for me, everywhere is home. Because like Mozambique is with me. I will go back. So I go once a year, but not often. Like not how I should go, because I have all my family there. I should go often, but I go less. But my family respect that. They understand it. And
okay.
They know I have plans, goals, and things to do.
I think I have mentioned that one of your visits of Mozambique was after the cyclone. You went there to photograph the horrible consequences of the cyclone.
Oh.
How was it for you to come back home and witness such horrible scenes?
Yeah, well, this is why I didn't want to answer. Like, when was the last time I went home?
So it was the last time?
It was complicated. Because like the last time I went home, I went to cover the climate change. Not exactly to visit my family and friends. Like, depends how you ask me if I went home. But it was difficult because like, if photographing, you own people. You cover different issues, but when you have to turn the camera to you, it is difficult. So it was not okay, but I was more engaged in this thing, and it's different. With climate change and war is totally different, because everybody cries. There's no words to console or to comfort the people in need at this moment, because it's made by nature. And now in Ukraine or in Syria, I can say, oh, look, the war is going to finish. Don't worry. Like, I'm choosing this side. I'm with you. Like, at least you have, when it's a climate change, you cry together. Like, you just have to cry together.
Did the cyclone affect some of your relatives in any way?
Some of the relatives.
Yeah.
Not so bad. Like 99% of the people that lost everything. That especially like in Mozambique, still this country, that your richness is the cattle. We have cows. We don't have really like houses and mansions and cars and like the one is like kind of a cyclone. It's like it's not material things. It's things that's what was feeding was a generation. Like 100 cows. It's like it comes from your grandfather. And in just 24 hours, everything goes away. I'm talking about the poor people, because it's the poor people who live more with cattle, and this is the worst part about it. And most of them make a suicide. They just let themselves go with the cows and chickens.
Okay.
There was many cases that I witnessed. For example, like with the helicopters from Red Cross picking out people from the rain, from the dangerous areas, and people was really denied to give their hands to the rescue team, because they really were like, if my cow don't come, or if this don't come, or this fridge don't come, I won't come. So like you see how symbolic is a life in the small little moments, because like the climate change, the refugees or the victims of it, the rationals. The victims of war, they're not rationals. They're in trauma. It's different. But like the people, the refugees of a climate change, they're rationals. They choose, like, I prefer to die with a microwave. Like, really? because we don't know anything else. It was like from his father, and you don't understand why he wanted to die with his cows, but it means something. They don't need life. They need something that you can't understand. It's value. We know that this value of things that they have. So it's painful, very, very painful, very, very painful. Different. That's why I was telling you, it's different to compare it. Yeah, it's terrible. You go, the war, for example, I went to Bucha in Ukraine. Everything down, destroyed, houses, but like a climate change. You just go to this village and there's nothing. But nothing at all. Nothing to see, no destruction, just nothing at all. And you ask them, where are you living? Where's your house? Somewhere over there. Or it's different, it's different. And about the climate change, just to sublime some, this kind of catastrophe, it happened before us. Long time, and they're always going to happen. But we just have not locate the people on the places that we know it's going to happen, because we know it's going to happen. In IT, in Mosambique, everywhere, we know, the government knows it's going to happen. Just move the people and let it happen. Exactly, because we know it's going to happen. 3 times I went to Mozambique, it's hitting the same people. I have videos, they're growing up. If I show you the videos, they're growing up. Yeah, they keep being hitting on the same place,
So it's hard.
So if it was just about the climate change, I wouldn't go to cover this story. But it's because the government don't do anything to take them out of the risk areas. That's why I'm working in the climate, not stop the plastic. There are people who do that, but my personal story in the climate change is to push the government to move the people from these places.
Okay.
If the governments have no conditions to do that, mobilize the people. Each people take 2 families. There's many ways to do it. Of course, it's Africa, it's a poor country. There's no condition to give house to everyone. Mobilize people. Take your neighbor. You live on the city. You have space. Make different kind of campaign. Be smart. Do something easy and nice, and the government don't have to spend 1 crown for that. Just make a nice campaign, and we're all going to feel solidarity and take 1 family. The same thing that Czech Republic is doing with Ukraine. The German did with Syrians. Why not with the victim of climate change internal? It would be more easy because we talk the same language. So why they insisting to put people there? So this is the dot that makes me always go. Because there's something, they're eating some money. There is same like education in Africa.
Do you think there is some chance to change it?
Nope.
No?
No. I'm full of this and this and this of the same material. Meetings, nothing. So what happened is I get involved in the story. I keep in touch with the people. So I have to make a campaign with a few friends, with you, with her, to give me 10 crowns. Then I have to go back, say, look, I promise you I'm coming back. But look, I just have 1, 2, 3, 4 tents. Okay, it's already 3 families. Then I go back. But I always go back. Every time I go to photograph someplace, I always go back after with something. Always. Bangladesh, Myanmar, every time I go to photograph, I bring answers. I bring help to the people. Sometimes it's not the same people, because they keep moving. It's the people that are in the same situation. And this makes me feel good.
Antonio, you have mentioned it before. You also take pictures of celebrities. I wanted to ask you what do you enjoy the most about this part of your job? But I think you have mentioned that as well, that you found that balance between the wars and the normal life. But how did it happen that you became a photographer of Johnny Depp, for example?
Well, as I said before, like everything starts to shoot a bird, then ask the question.
Step by step.
Exactly. So it was on a Cannes festival, it was in Carlo Vivari. It's difficult now to say, it can be longer, right? But like it was networking. I shoot one, then a shot John Travolta. Travolta recommends another one, then so.
Did it work like this also with Czech President Václav Havel?
Also, because like there's something like all the time that I meet these people, I'm not just a photographer of the event, or I'm also go with the position as a photographer, because like I don't want to just photograph them and have good relationship with them and have an honor to be on the same roof with them, but also like has a gap to say what I'm doing and where it's happening and what they can do for it, because I have a chance to meet the powerful people. So every time I drink wine with Will Smith, Johnny Depp, I have to say about Rohingya people. I have to tell them about Ukraine. I tell them my story when we have a chance. Small little chance, can be in the middle of a red carpet. Hey Antonio, hi, I have something to tell you.
And they're happy to listen.
They're happy to listen, and they give me a lot of cards. Like, okay, I cannot do it personally, but like call this one who maybe do something. It's like, and we keep like the networking.
That's good. That's good. Antonio, what are your next plans? Where are you going to be traveling next?
Well, I always think that like we want to stop cover conflicts and start photographing tribes, isolated tribes, but it's impossible. Once you start it, you have a bond with people, and you know the value of a camera. And so next destination is going to be now. Today that you asked me this question in my mind is to Georgia or to Kazakhstan, because I wanted to make a documentation of the refugees, if I can call this, still too early, that flee from Russia to the neighbor countries. So I want to make another part of Ukrainian story.
Okay. So that's the next project.
Yeah, and even if I'm not going to the front line after the Georgia, there's another project I want to do in Ukraine. Surround the Kiev, not in the front line, which is like, I have a question about the minorities of Ukraine, like the Gypsies, special, the Roma people. I have a lot of calls, I have a lot of emails, because, you know, like people tell me a lot of stories, like of things that happen, you know, so I'm going to investigate this case. A lot of, for example, like if you see my pictures, like it's just the elite of, I cannot call it that way, but like it's one kind of people that's fleeing away. And I want to know more about the other gypsies, the Ukrainian gypsies that was living on the camps. Because like if you look to some of my pictures, you're going to see like destroyed big buildings. It was like down, all of them. So imagine gypsies living on the camps. Yeah, how they flee, what's the access they have to the aid, to the first aid, and how they're treated in this process, because they're not so visible in all these 3 times they've been there. So my question is like, where are they? I just want to know, where are they?
Antonio, I wish you good luck with all your projects, upcoming projects, of course, and thank you very much for the interview. Thank you.
I hope next interview is going to be to talk about the peace in Ukraine.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.